Hello, and welcome back to Cape Corner, where we explore the history, story, and cultural impact of a different character or group every episode. I'm Blue,
And I'm Jay.
and today we are going to be discussing another anime character, one that Jay knows very little about. Um, I didn't realize you didn't know anything about this character, but it's going to be another one of those one guy explains a thing to another guy episodes.
I feel like that's half of our episodes. I'm not even gonna lie.
It's fine. I mean, like, we're we're starting off by discussing like the big mainstream characters, and because we're stubborn dicks, we just don't watch all of the mainstream things. So
Yeah.
but there's plenty of characters that you and I are both like equally aware of, so we're gonna get to them. There's if people are upset that there's too many of these kinds of episodes where it's very lopsided, do not worry. We're saving the good stuff for the future. And besides, I think that these are fun too. Hearing Honestly, hearing your reactions in real time when I explain some of this crazy shit to you has always is it's just very fun. All right, so today we're going to be talking about the substitute Shinigami, and that's the only goddamn nickname I could think of for him. Uh, Ichigo Kurosaki. So, Bleach is supposed to be coming back at some point.
Is it
So
really?
it's been, yeah, well, because they just sort of stopped doing it, um, and the manga kept going. So they're going to make like a final season or whatever.
Oh, all
Um,
right.
and I'm going to be honest with you, the series should have stopped sooner. Um, what's his name? Tite Kubo. I have some judgments about Tite Kubo's ability to write. I think what he did, and and this is just my speculation. I can't speak for how much of this was studio interference or whatever, but just from what I can observe, it seems like what he did was he did some world building, came up with an extremely cool and interesting premise for a series. He came up with a bunch of great character designs. He came up with cool like powers and abilities and stuff. He made the bedrock, the basis, the foundation of a great series, but then didn't bother thinking about what the story would actually be beyond like the first maybe two seasons. And so
Hmm.
I guess he was trying to do what Akira Toriyama, the author of Dragon Ball, does, which is just uh I'm in the mood to write a sci-fi story now. I'm gonna make the Namek saga. Or hey, I just rewatched fucking Terminator. I'm gonna make the Android saga, where he literally just flies by the seat of his pants and comes up with whatever bullshit and makes it work. But the problem is that's a pretty rare talent that Akira Toriyama has, being able to make shit like that work. Tite Kubo does not have that same talent.
Hmm.
And so from season to season, things just I don't know. A lot of people like Bleach, but I think generally in terms of the big three from the 2000s, Naruto, One Piece, and Bleach, um, Bleach is the one that came off as the weakest, which sucks because the other two are extremely similar in tone, and Bleach was different. So it would have been nice if it succeeded.
Yeah.
Um, Okay, so how much do you know about Bleach?
Not much at all. Like, I know that the main character is a redhead, and I know he has a really unique looking sword. And that's about it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, this will be fun then. Um, okay, so to start, so you see what Ichigo Kurosaki looks like, right?
Yeah.
Motherfucker's 15.
He's 15.
Mm-hmm.
He looks like he's in his fucking 20s.
Yep. So right away, welcome to Bleach. If you think he looks too old to be 15, do me a favor. Google Bleach Chad.
Bleach Chad.
Yep, Chad. Chad.
All right.
His real
Oh
name
my
is like
God.
Sato or something, but everyone calls him Chad.
He looks like he's in his 30s, but I feel like he's gonna be, I swear, if he's younger than 15,
He's the same age as Ichigo.
you're kidding.
They're both in high school.
God damn. I would not want to mess with them in high school.
Yeah. While we're at it, I'm just gonna show you like the main, so like a couple of the main like human starting characters. Another one is Orihime.
How do you spell that?
Orihime.
Oh, I've seen her a time or two.
Yeah, she's really good. I like her. She's not related to Ichigo. Weirdly enough, all of the other members of his family do not have orange hair. She is the only other character in the series that does.
Really?
Yeah. And they wind up getting together in the end, which is like, all right, yes. Something something red string of fate, something something. Okay. Um and Google Rukia. Rukia.
Oh, all right.
Okay. So here's the story. Um we literally open up the show on a city street in like the suburbs, and it's like a group of three punks getting yelled at by Ichigo because they were skateboarding, and when they were grinding on the sidewalk, they knocked over a vase of flowers, and and one of them's like, "Oh, shut the fuck up! Stop yelling at us!" And Ichigo winds up like beating him down and stomping his face into the ground so hard that the pavement is cracking and his face is going down into it.
Damn.
Yeah, which you would think would sooner murder his face rather than like move the pavement or whatever. Um, so Ichigo reveals that the reason that he's so angry at these guys is because those flowers were placed there in memory of a kid who died on that street. And he scares the shit out of these guys, chases them away. Apparently doesn't kill the one guy. All right. Uh, and then we see a little girl standing there, and she thanks him, and he picks up the vase and sets it right, and he goes, "Don't worry, they won't bother your spot anymore." And then she just fades away, and we get the, "My name is Ichigo Kurosaki. I'm your average 15-year-old high school student." Yeah, okay. And he's like, "I just have the ability to see ghosts. I've been able to see them since I was little." Um, So that's his whole thing, is that he can see and talk to spirits. His family owns a clinic. His dad's a doctor, so he thinks maybe being constantly surrounded by like sick and dying people since he was little is what gave him this ability.
Mm.
Uh, Spoiler alert, it's not. It's because it turns out, I guess, both of his parents were crazy spirit shit. So, okay, let's get this out of the way. Bleach, the afterlife does exist. Um, every time you see a ghost on Earth, an earthbound spirit, they have a chain, uh, like a length of chain coming out of their chest.
Oh,
So this chain like erodes and shrinks in length over time. If they do not pass on to the proper afterlife, eventually, when the chain erodes completely, where it's coming out of their chest will also erode. There will be a hole in their chest, and they will become what's known as a hollow. A hollow, uh, when an earthbound spirit becomes a hollow, like this, like white goo shoots out of their like eyes and mouth, and it surrounds their head, and it forms a white bone-like mask. So hollows are uh like demonic creatures that wear masks. You can go ahead and Google some hollows look like. Just Google bleach hollow. There's a bunch of different kinds. Um,
oh, that's
Now,
sick.
yeah, they're pretty cool. Now, the way that an earthbound spirit goes to the afterlife, as well as the way hollows are dealt with, so that they're not constantly like poltergeisting the living, uh, is the job of a group called the Shinigamis. In the English dub, they're called Soul Reapers, but
Reminds me of Death Note.
more accurately, Shinigami just means death god. I don't know if you've ever seen Death Note.
Oh, I've read the manga a couple times actually.
Ryuk is a Shinigami.
Yeah.
Um, so unlike in Death Note where they're creepy monster things, they're just like people wearing like traditional black Japanese kimonos carrying swords.
Okay.
So uh I don't know if it's ever explained that this is specifically the afterlife for Japan or what. Uh like for all I know, maybe there's a fucking Native American afterlife and there's a fucking European afterlife and an African afterlife. Who fucking knows? All I know is that the only afterlife that we have confirmed is dripping with Japanese culture. Um like classical Japanese. So but anyway, um so the Soul Reapers live in a place called the Soul Society, which is, quote unquote heaven, right?
Mm.
Um, and the way it works is when a human being dies, they become a spirit. That spirit, a Shinigami will bump their forehead with the hilt of their sword, leaving like a special mark on their forehead, which turns them into like a hell butterfly, like a black butterfly, which flies up to the Soul Society. They reform there. They're now a spirit that has no chain in their chest anymore, living happily in Soul Society. And eventually, a spirit, even though they can live for thousands of years, they will get old. They will eventually die. And when a spirit dies, their soul is recycled to create a new human spirit on Earth. So reincarnation works as like a two-step cycle.
Mm.
Um, so you can still die even if you're a spirit. Uh, and the 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 Shinigami also use their swords, their Zanpakuto, they're called, to cut into the mask of a hollow, which is the only way to really get rid of it. Like if you attack other body parts, it just keeps going.
Yeah.
You slice into the mask, and it not only destroys it, but it also purifies the hollow, allowing their uh like demonic self to like be cleansed away. Their soul gets into the soul society. Though there is one time um that they're fighting a hollow, and it's the hollow of a guy who was already evil. Like he was like a pedophile or rapist or some shit, or like some kind of criminal, I don't know. And when uh when they beat him and all of the hollow shit went away, he was still there. And suddenly these massive iron doors appeared behind him and just opened up, and it was like red and scary as shit, and he got sucked in like a vacuum, and the doors ominously shut and then just went back down. And Ichigo was like, "What the fuck was that? That never happened before." And the person training him is like, "Oh, he was already evil. Like it wasn't just him being a hollow that turned him bad. So he got sent to hell." And then they never bring it up again. You would think that they would do something interesting with the fact that hell exists. They never do.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. Um. Okay. So that's what a Shinigami is. I should say the Zanpakuto. It's not just a sword. It is an extension of their spirit. Um. When okay, they they will recruit uh souls with high spiritual energy in the Soul Society to be a part of the Shinigamis. Um,
Hmm.
a telltale sign is if they're getting hungry, they've got a lot of spirit energy, because souls don't need to eat biologically, but souls with high spiritual energy will yearn for food anyway. So if you see a little kid that's like gobbling on apples or something, you'll be like, "Oh, they must have strong spirit energy. Hey, kid, you want a sword?" Um, and so you send them to the Shinigami Academy, and what they do is they will just take what's called an asauchi. It's just a normal blade for all intents and purposes. It's essentially a blank Zanpakuto, and the more they train with it and use it, the more their soul imprints onto it, and eventually the Zanpakuto forms its own um, identity, its own personality. It gives itself a name, um, and when you're more experienced, you can start training for shikai, which essentially means you've heard the voice of your Zanpakuto, um, and you have bonded with it enough to convince the Zanpakuto to tell you what its name is. And once you know its name, a lot of times you'll make some sort of call, then you'll say its name, and it will transform your sword. Um, so as an example, I will use uh I'll use a character named Renji Abarai. Um, so Renji has a normal katana, like most everyone else does. But when he says "roar Zabimaru," it turns into a broader sword that's split into segments that each segment has like a metal spike coming off of it. And when he swings his sword, you find out that there's wires connecting each segment, so the sword extends out like a whip. Are you still there?
Sorry, phone being stupid. I said that was sick.
Uh, um, and then there's a level beyond Shikai called Bankai. And if if you manage to, okay, so typically it takes like hundreds of years of training, like 300 years or something. Although Ichigo's the main character and he cheats, but however you do it, you have to actually like battle with your spirit inside of your own like spirit realm, and
Mm.
if you come out on top, like you completely dominate your Zanpakuto, and it gives you their total respect, then you can use Bankai, which, unlike Shikai, where you need to have their specific name and call, here you literally just say Bankai, and it is your ultimate form. So for Renji again, when he uses Bankai, Zabimaru turns into a giant bamboo dragon that wraps around him, and uh he's got like a bamboo hilt with like, it's no longer wires connecting it. Instead, it's just like green energy. And so he just swings the hilt, and this big fucking dragon flies out and attacks people. And so everybody has the potential to have both a Shikai and a Bankai. Not everyone gets there. Bankai is like a captain level technique because the Shinigami are separated into 13 different squads. Um, each squad has a lieutenant and a captain, and the 13 captains are like the strongest of all Shinigami. Um, there is actually one captain, only one, I think, in history that did not only did not have Bankai, he didn't even know his Zanpakuto's name.
Really?
He was just so powerful by sheer brute force that he was able to get in. Um, and his sword looks all fucked up, like the edge is all chipped and it's like slightly rusted and whatnot, because he's just neglected any relationship with his sword for so long. He's like, I'm just going to use you as a sword. I don't need you as a crazy whatever. I'm just really good at killing things. Um, okay, so on the opposite side of Shinigami, there's also Quincy's. Now, are humans who have trained with spiritual ability to be able to form spirit bows and arrows. And they also hunt hollows. But the difference is that when they shoot a hollow in the mask, it does not purify it, it just kills the hollow. That soul is no longer like that, they destroy its soul. It does not exist anymore. And as a result, it takes that soul out of the reincarnation cycle. So Quincy's were seen as irreparably damaging the fabric of life and the afterlife as we know it. And so all the Shinigami just one day went down and murdered them all. Um, and we originally learned that one lived and his family would pass down the teachings, and eventually there would be this guy, Uryu Ishida, who kind of looks like Sasuke if he was a dweeb with glasses. Um, and Uryu has like a I don't like how Bleach handles its characters. It's even worse than Dragon Ball. He is initially depicted as Ichigo's rival, but like then they barely ever even fucking interact with each other after like episode 12.
Oh geez.
So yeah. Uh but uh it turns out that there was another Quincy that got to live, I guess. So okay, all this is to say Ichigo's dad was a fucking Shinigami, and he, I guess, the Quincy he went to hunt maybe um was Ichigo's mom, and he was like, she's a pretty lady, I don't want to kill her. Hey, let's just go to Earth and pretend we're humans, like normal people. And so blah blah blah, there you go. That's why they have a son who can see ghosts. Though weirdly enough, their two younger daughters, Yuzu and Karin, I think. Neither one of them have the ability to see spirits from the young age Ichigo was, because they're not the main character. In fact, I think Yuzu never gets that ability. I think Karin does eventually, but only because she was hanging out with like spiritually inclined people.
Mm.
And that is a thing. Apparently, Ichigo's spiritual power is so strong that Orihime and Chad, just by being around him, eventually manifest their own spirit powers. Chad gains the power to make one of his arms like armored, and he can fire out spiritual like blasts from punching. Um, Orihime, she always wears this little hair clip that's in the shape of an asterisk, and each point of the asterisk now contains a fairy. They're called something that isn't fairies. She Shinsen, I don't know. I can't remember. Look, they're fairies, okay? They're fucking fairies. And there's six of them. And so she has three things she can do. She can use three of them uh to each form the corner of a triangular shield to protect. Oh, I guess I should say they're all shields, but in name only because they do different things. So one makes an actual shield to block an attack. That's using three of them. Another two make like a cat's eye shaped shield, um, which heals people. So she puts this shield down over top of someone's wound and it heals it. Um, and then the last one, who's like a tough, aggressive guy fairy, um, she sends him in, and he flies right at an opponent. And right as he hits them, he makes a shield to just cut through them. So he's her offensive ability.
Damn.
Um, yeah. Now, of all of those, the one that is apparently the most telling about her abilities is the healing one, because we see later somebody who's like a very dangerous high level enemy remark, "What the fuck? That girl isn't healing." And they're like, What are you talking about? She is healing. Look, his wounds are going away." And she's like, She is not stimulating his body to heal his wounds. She is turning back time. She is reverting his body to a state from before it got injured." So that makes her like a target because they're like, okay, this girl can do some crazy shit. We should get her. All right. So the okay, Ichigo doesn't have his mom at the start of the show. Uh
Typical protagonist.
yeah, he so she died when he was little, and we would find out that she was killed by a hollow called Grand Fisher, who is one of the most cunning and ruthless and dangerous of the Hollows. He's one of the ones that has like a proper personality, um, because Hollows have different levels. And in Hueco Mundo, where they all live, which seems like hell, but it's not hell because hell has already been established to be a different thing. Hueco Mundo is just like a barren desert, dark area where the Hollows live. Whatever, okay. Uh, but in Hueco Mundo, a bunch of low level Hollows that are essentially just animals will eat each other. And
Mm.
the more that a hollow survives and consumes other hollows, the more it develops along stages and it becomes more intelligent and develops more of a personality. In fact, eventually, so I should say Grand Fisher at this point is just a normal hollow, it's just a high level one. Eventually, a hollow that has consumed thousands and thousands, or like at least 1,000 other hollows, will become what's called a Manos Grande. A Manos Grande is an extremely dangerous class of hollow, the first form of which is massive, called a Gillian. Um, it's just a huge, super tall, black robed thing with a white mask and a pointy nose. Um, Gillians are seen as too strong for any normal Shinigami to take alone. Um, you either need a squad or a captain.
Okay.
Um, but the Gillian is not the strongest form of the Hollow. As the Gillian continues to grow in power, it eventually shrinks back down and becomes an Ajukas, I think it's called, um, which is a very animal-shaped Hollow. And
So the furries.
yes, um, now at this point, um, a Manos Grande Hollow of any classification, Gillian or Ajakas, or what goes beyond that, the highest level of a normal hollow of a Manos Grande is what's it called? A Vasto Lord,
Mm.
where it becomes humanoid in shape again, um, and it's just the most powerful normal hollow. At any point, any of those three types of Minos Grandes can remove their mask, and if they do, they become what's called an Arankar. An Arankar gains the powers of a Shinigami on top of being a hollow. They gain their own Zanpakuto. And
Oh,
uh, they can't use Shikai or Bankai, they use what's called Resurrection. Um, I should say, like they use a lot of Spanish in this show. They really like Spanish in Bleach. Um, so that's what a lot of these words are.
well, that's interesting. You don't see
Yeah,
that every day.
no, it definitely lent a an interesting uh flavor to the series, especially in comparison to others, because Chad is he's half Mexican, half Japanese. They use a lot of like Spanish guitar in the music. Um, the like beam attack that the Hollows use is called a Cero, which is Spanish for zero.
Mm.
Um, Stuff like that. Hueco Mundo, Ajukas, all of that is Spanish. It's very cool. Um, Even the hollows themselves, they seem to be modeled after sugar skulls or like Dia de los Muertos masks.
Okay.
So hmm, um so Grand Fisher killed Ichigo's mom when he was little, and later on in the series we would actually see him become an Arankar, And we get the reveal at that point that Ichigo's dad is a Shinigami, because he kills Grand Fisher, gets revenge for his wife. It's a whole big thing, whatever. But the story actually properly starts again. Ichigo's 15, and while he's walking through the city one day, he sees a hollow, a type of spirit he's never seen before, and Rukia appears and cuts it down. And he's like, yo, that was crazy. I've never seen spirits do that shit before. I wonder what the deal was. He goes home. He's just chilling out in bed. And Rukia just suddenly comes through his bedroom window at one point. And he's like, what the hell are you doing in my room? Get out. And she's just like completely ignoring him. She's like, there's definitely a hollow that was headed this way, but I can't sense it anymore. It's like there's some big spiritual pressure here blocking my senses. What's going on? And then he just kicks her in the back and he's like, I'm talking to you. And she's like, what the fuck? You can see me? He's like, yes, I can see you. You're standing right there. And she's like, but I'm a spirit. And he's like, oh, I can see spirits. And she's like, okay, you're not normal, but whatever. And so like the hollow winds up appearing. It attacks his two sisters and kidnaps them. Um, and she tries, to fight the hollow, but because she's also trying to defend Ichigo, she winds up getting bitten in the shoulder and really badly injured. And uh, she manages to cut one of its teeth out of its mask, which like sends it back in pain enough for them to get some distance. She's on the ground. She's like, I can't fight anymore. Do you want to protect your family? And he's like, of course. She's like, then we have no other option. There's no other Shinigami on the scene. You have to do it. And he's like, cool. How do I do it? She's like, you got to take my Zanpakuto and you gotta stab it through yourself. I can't guarantee you'll live. Um, but there is a chance that me infusing my spiritual power into you can lend you some of my power. He's like, all right, cool, then give me that blade. And he stabs himself. Big explosion of light. She's left there like, what the fuck? I only intended to give him a little bit of my power. He took almost all of it. And he's standing there in the black robes, and now he's got a giant fucking sword. Um, it's not the sword that you might have seen him with, which looks like a big cleaver. Um, it's what a claymore looks like.
Yeah.
It's basically a claymore.
Oh,
Um,
that's sick.
yeah, and he swings it like he's fucking Cloud Strife, and kills the Hollow. Um, and we at some point get the remark that a Zanpakuto's size is relative to someone's spiritual power. Um, so him having a big sword means he's got a lot of potential. Um, but that also sort of, it turns out, doesn't matter because later on somebody brings that up again, and they're like, after they've met the captains who all have normal sized katanas, they're like, what? Why are all the katanas that the captains have so small though? And they're like, oh, because they could control the size of their Zanpakuto. If they couldn't control it, every captain would be swinging swords the size of skyscrapers.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. Um. So, and before you get any cool ideas, don't. They never do anything interesting with controlling the size of their swords. There's never a moment where they're like on the ground with their sword and they're like, I guess you've beaten me, and the enemy is like, haha, I've and then they just make their sword skyscraper size. Nope, never. Not
Oh, that
once.
sucks.
Welcome to Bleach, where they're constantly bringing up cool concepts that they never do anything with.
Man, that would irritate me.
It is like the anti Chekhov's gun series. and it does frustrate me. Um, because instead of actually paying off a concept that was mentioned previously, they will just make a new concept every time.
That's annoying.
It is. Um, so Ichigo winds up having to become a substitute Shinigami until Rukia's powers come back. She trains him. Um, there's a pervert pill boy named Kon who uh they wind up meeting because it's a whole thing. They Shinigami will sometimes swallow this spirit candy pill um to eject their soul from any physical body that they're currently inhabiting because they can like use these like dolls to maintain a physical presence on Earth if they need to go undercover or whatever. Um, they can eject from them, and like a temporary soul called a mod soul will just take over uh until they get back to inhabit the body again. It's funny because mod souls actually have like models or personalities. Apparently Chappie the rabbit, I think, is a popular mod soul for girl Shinigami. Um, so it's just a cutesy happy soul that says hop sometimes. So
Mm.
it'll be like, hey, I'm in class right now. Chappie, take over for me. And she'll be like, okay. And so your fucking goth friend will just come back and be like, hi everyone, how's it going, Hop? So, you know, another concept that's not done a whole lot with. It's just that they happen to use a defective mod soul. They call him Cone or Con or whatever, and he's a fucking pervert. And he almost ruins Ichigo's reputation. And so to punish him, Ichigo shoves him into a stuffed lion, and so Kon is just stuck as a stuffed lion. They found out that Chad and Orihime have powers now. They have a resolution with Orihime's dead brother. It's very sad. Uh, a whole bunch of stuff happens. Eventually, we find out that Rukia's adoptive older brother is one of the captains of the Soul Society, Captain Byakuya Kuchiki. And Byakuya comes to take her back to Soul Society, saying she needs to be punished. Ichigo tries to fight him, gets completely washed. In fact, he has his Zanpakuto completely destroyed. Um, Byakuya remarks, I left your soul chain intact so that you can, like, still be a spirit, so that you won't die, stuff like that. I didn't
Mm.
completely destroy your spiritual power, but with your Zanpakuto destroyed, you can never become a Shinigami again.
Damn.
Um, and of course, that doesn't matter because this motherfucker loses his powers like 3 times in the series and always gets them back. Um, he winds up going to this guy who's a weird shop owner named Kisuke Urahara. And Urahara is rad. He's a dude with like a little bucket hat, like a green robe, some like clogs. I think Ichigo calls him Mr. Hat and Clogs. Um, and he has a cane, um, and he has what appears to be a pet cat, and the cat can talk, and its name is Yoruichi. And uh, Ichigo's like, uh, oh, what the hell? That cat can talk, and Yoruichi's just like, kid, you've seen so much crazy shit, and you're getting upset that a cat can talk. And Ichigo's like, I guess you have a point. Um, and Urahara, as it turns out, used to be one of the captains of the Soul Society until he just decided, fuck it, fuck it, I'm just gonna be like a spiritual shopkeeper on Earth. Why not? Sounds fun. And he just retired. Um, he he's like, okay, Ichigo, I can train you to get your Soul Reaper powers back to reform your Zanpakuto. The only way this can work is if you attain Shikai. Because your base sword is destroyed, you can never transform back into that sword. Your sword will always be in Shikai, but it's fine. You'll still have one, and you can
Mm.
be a Shinigami again. So that's why, like, you see that big cleaver with him all the time, is because he literally cannot go back to the initial stage of his sword. It's always in that form.
Ah, all right.
Um, and he's like, if you can't do it, you'll become a hollow, and I'll have to kill you. And Ichigo, of course, gets right up to the point, like seconds before becoming a hollow. He does it. He learns that his Zanpakuto's name is Zangetsu, um, which oh, I knew what it was called. I can't remember what it means. Um, but anyway, he decides to go to the Soul Society. Yoruichi actually acts as their guide to the Soul Society. Um, so they've got a cat leading the charge. Orihime, Chad, Uryu, they're all going with Ichigo to the Soul Society to try and rescue Rukia. And the rescue Rukia arc was the coolest fucking thing in Bleach, and it was the second season.
Really?
Yeah. They go to attack the Soul Society, and it's some of the most epic shit. Um, Eventually Ichigo is like, yeah, with all the new power I've gained, I could totally fight, and then he just still gets beaten down. And he's like, I still can't fight captains. Okay, got it. And Yoruichi's like, yeah, you're gonna. So Ichigo gets grievously injured at one point. He wakes up. They're like him and Yoruichi are like hiding in like a cave or something, and Yoruichi's like, "We're gonna have to get you Bankai, but in order for me to train you for Bankai, I can't really stay like this." There's just a big poof of smoke, and Yoruichi's a hot, naked black lady, and I adore Yoruichi. Yoruichi is like one of my favorite characters in the entire series. It's like honestly, it's between Yoruichi and one of the captains called Hitsugaya. I want you to take a moment to Google Yoruichi to see what she looks like.
All right.
It's Yoruichi. Her name's like Shihuin Yoruichi or something like that.
Can you spell that out one more time?
Yoruichi.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I said I loved her purple hair.
Oh yeah. Yeah. She's great, dude. I love her. It's funny because like when she appears, Ichigo starts freaking out, like, "Oh, oh my God, you're a woman and you're naked," and she's like, "So what? Aren't you innocent, boy?" And he's just like, "Just put some clothes on." Which, of course, me as a man of culture was like, "Shut the fuck up, Ichigo! Stop ruining this!" And then she puts clothes on, and I'm just like, "God damn it!" Um, she does really enjoy fucking with him though, because like later on they're in like an underground big bunker area that's got like a little hot spring area, and
Mm.
she's like, "Cool, I'm gonna join you," and she starts stripping, and of course he starts like freaking out again, and he's like, "Ah," and she's like, "Haha, you're a dork," and then like turns back into the cat with the very masculine voice. It's like, there's no problem if I'm like this, right? And he's just like, I guess. And at one point when he's in like mid like speech talking about like some deep and heavy shit, he turns and she's just a woman again, and he's just like, God damn it. um but yeah, so she's fucking rad. She also used to be a captain. She used to be the captain of Squad 2, which is like the speed response division. They heavily use martial arts rather than just swordplay. Um, and she was called the Queen of Flash, uh, because she was the fastest of all Shinigami, and her protege is also her successor, the new captain of Squad Two, Soy Fon, and Soy Fon winds up battling her in this arc, and is like, so I should say there's four main tenets to um Shinigami's combat. There's Zanjutsu, which is swordplay.
Mm.
Uh, there is Hakuda, which I think it's, yeah, because the two types of Kido are uh Bakudo and I can't remember. Look, there's one that's fucking martial arts fighting. Uh, there's, I think it's Ho Ho, which is just speed based stuff, which is like Flash Step is a basic Ho Ho technique where it's just like Dragon Ball Z, where you like flicker your body forward really quickly, or like Naruto does the same thing.
Yeah.
Um, and then there's Keto, which is like essentially magic spells you can cast. And Keto is split into two subsections. One is entirely sealing based, and the other one is like destruction magic.
Okay.
Um, so uh, Soy Fon is like, oh, I've got a new technique that I haven't fully perfected yet, but I'm going to use it on you, Yoruichi. It's uh, their fight was really cool because okay, Soifan was using her Shikai, which turned her sword into like a needle that covered her middle finger. And what she would do is she would stab Yoruichi with it, but the stabbing wasn't the main thing. Wherever she stabbed would leave a butterfly mark on her. And she's like, if I stab one of those butterfly marks, so if I stab you in the same place a second time, you'll just die. It just kills you.
Damn.
Yeah. Um, but Yoruichi is too fast to let herself get stabbed a second time. So Soifon's like, I'm going to crank up the speed. This is a technique I haven't perfected yet. Um, it it combines Keto, and Ho Ho, and Hakuda. So it's martial arts, speed, and spiritual magic all in one. Um, and she starts like crackling with like white lightning, and Yoruichi is like, it has a name. And she's like, what? No, I came up with it. And she's like, no, you figured it out, but it was already invented. The thing about Squad 2, all their robes don't have shoulders or backs on their robes. And Yoruichi's like, why do you think we designed our robes this way? She's like, I don't know. It's like, because the amount of spiritual pressure that's released when using this technique specifically manifests in the shoulders and the back, and it blows those parts of your clothes out. And she suddenly starts doing the exact same thing. I wish to God I could remember the name of the technique, but it's really cool. It basically makes them start moving at like super speeds. And all of their strikes release this like white lightning energy. It's fucking rad. Um, they essentially become speedsters from DC Comics. It's cool.
As long
Um,
as they don't start time traveling.
no, actually not.
We don't need a multiverse.
We really don't, especially not for fucking Bleach. But so that's one of the fights that's going on. A big fight is that Ichigo uses his Bankai for the first time against Captain Kuchiki. Um, his Bankai is interesting because a lot of the others, their Bankai releases some big effect, like summoning a giant iron golem, or making a field of swords that each turn into flower petal like miniature blades that can cut you 10,000 times in a second, or make a big bamboo dragon, or give me ice wings and dragon claws and stuff like that. Ichigo's makes his sword smaller. His becomes a normal sized katana for the first time. He's never had one of those. And his blade is black. His blade hilt has the Nazi symbol.
You're joking.
It's I'm not, but it's not technically the Nazi symbol.
Oh,
It's
it's the Buddhism symbol for peace or
yes,
whatever. Yeah.
yes, but
God,
it's still the it's the right angles.
that's ballsy of them, though.
It was um they were basically like, we're not American, we don't give a fuck. Uh, uh, and his robes change. It now becomes like a almost like a sort of tattered black trench coat rather than a proper kimono.
Okay.
Um, and his Bankai's name is Tensa Zangetsu. I should say all their Bankais have a name that is like a modified version of their Zanpakuto name.
Mm.
Um, and Ichigo has a technique that he can use where he slices the air and it makes like an energy wave called Getsuga Tensho. Getsuga Tensho is his Rasengan or his Kamehameha. It's his signature move, right?
Okay.
And his Getsuga Tensho, when he's using his Shikai, is like a blue energy wave, but when he's in Bankai, it becomes a black wave with a red outline.
Ooh.
It's pretty cool. Um, However, during his fight with Byakuya, something is properly manifested for the first time. So remember how I was like, when he was training to get his powers back, he was right on the verge of becoming a hollow right before he
Yeah.
managed to succeed. When he like the smoke cleared and he had his Shinigami outfit on, he also had a hollow mask like on the side of his head, which he just pulled off and chucked away. And it was like, I did it. That's the end of that. But it turns out it wasn't. So remember how I said Arankars are hollows who have gained the power of a Shinigami?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Vizards are Shinigami who have gained the powers of a hollow.
Oh, all right.
And through coming so close to becoming a hollow, Ichigo actually has an inner hollow now. Some people called it like Ogichi or whatever, but it's it's like an all white version of himself within his little spirit realm. So he hangs out in the same place that Zangetsu does. I should also say Zangetsu's actual like spirit form is like a dude with like a black like wispy trench coat cloak and like sunglasses and like sort of 5 o'clock shadow and long hair.
Mm.
He's pretty cool, but um, so every once in a while, whenever this like assault on the Soul Society arc has been happening, if Ichigo's been like recovering and laying down, when he gets up, he finds that this mask was just there laying with him again. It's like, what the fuck? And he just tosses it aside again. But during his training for Bankai, um, he like started really hearing the voice of his inner hollow in his head fucking with him. And during his fight with Byakuya, um, Byakuya gets the upper hand and seems like he's about to win. And then Ichigo just suddenly catches his blade, and he looks up, and he's formed half of the mask on his face. So half of his face is exposed, the other half is covered with the mask, and he starts cackling like the goddamn Joker. Um, and he starts becoming like a hollow version of Ichigo, and Byakuya's just like, what the fuck is going on? He starts going insane, firing goddamn Getsuga Tenshos all over the place, like moving very chaotically and erratically. He's got Byakuya on the ropes, and then Ichigo says, "Go away! You're getting in the way of the fight." And he forces one of his arms to move under his will. He grabs the mask and tears it off of his face. And it is just like, sorry about that. Where were we? Um, Ultimately, he winds up um, more or less coming to a draw with Byakuya. There was a whole thing where it turns out, because they were going to execute Rukia, which is an extreme punishment for a very minor crime, given the circumstances of why she gave her power to a mortal. Um, and it turns out there was a big conspiracy. It turns out that a captain that they had thought was murdered a few days beforehand, named Aizen, orchestrated the whole thing. Um, Turns out his Zanpakuto's power is that anyone who has seen his blade, he can create illusions um, to fool. And he made an illusion of his own dead body. And he wanted this ancient power source or whatever that was in the Soul Society called the Hogyoku. He stole it.
Hmm.
A couple of other captains were in on this conspiracy with him. Uh, a bunch of Manos Grande suddenly appeared and like whisked them away. He was like, "I'm the bad guy of the show," and he went back to Hueco Mundo where all the hollows are, and he used the Hogyoku to empower a bunch of um hollows into becoming Arankar, and the 10 strongest Arankar formed their own organization called the Espada. And the Espada are rad as fuck. Um, like the whole Espada arc could have been handled much better, but the Espada themselves and the fights that they take part in are genuinely really cool. And I think that that was like the last best thing that the series did. There was a whole thing where there was this Espada named Ulquiorra, and Ulquiorra was number 4. The smaller your number, the stronger and higher ranked you are. So he was like the 4th strongest. Um, but when he's fighting Ichigo, and he's the one that kidnapped Orihime, he's fighting Ichigo, and he's like, you know, all the others, they only have one resurrection. If they knew that I had 2, I'd probably be number 1.
Damn.
So he uses a second level for his resurrection, which is cool. Ulquiorra is great. He is just a real sad boy. um, uh, but he's got a great design. He's super cool. He was sort of inspired by Vegeta because he shows up with this guy Yami, who is number 10 slash number 0, depending on whatever. Apparently, when he uses his resurrection, his number goes from 10 to 0 because it's such a power jump. I don't know, fucking whatever. He sucks. Um, but Yami is the big guy, and Ulquiorra is the little guy, but Ulquiorra is clearly stronger and in charge. So they're Vegeta and Nappa.
Hmm.
Um, and he's the one that remarks about Orihime's powers, kidnaps her. She sort of lives in Hueco Mundo for a little bit as their guest. They got to rescue Orihime. Um, and Ulquiorra, he can't really do emotions, so he's like borderline abusive with Orihime, but something about her really intrigues him, and she can't really bring herself to hate him or whatever. And he's like, why do you have these feelings? And she's like, I just have a heart. He's like, does that mean if I cut your heart out, then I'll be able to understand it? She's like,
God
no,
damn.
it's yeah. She's like, no, it's like it's more complicated than that. And he's like, I don't really get it. Um, but he winds up having a big battle with Ichigo, pushes Ichigo to a point where Ichigo has to form not only his mask, but like an entire like hollow form. He gets like horns and it's he looks like a demon. It's pretty
Mm.
cool. Um, Eventually he beats Ulquiorra, and as Ulquiorra's body's fading away, he sees Orihime and he reaches out to her, and she's like crying and she's like running to reach out to him, and his final thoughts are, "I see. So this is what it feels like to have a heart."
Oh.
Yeah, it's real fucking sad. Um, so all this is to say, I've been kind of clowning on Bleach, but take note, there's a lot of really good stuff in there. There's a lot of really strong concepts, great characters, awesome fights. The problem is that everything around it is weak. Um, they introduce entire factions and characters just to completely ignore them immediately after their introduction. There is a group of Vizards like Ichigo who do next to nothing in the story. Uh, um, and the amount of times Ichigo loses powers is also frustrating. Um, the his big climactic battle with Aizen had him like achieve an ultimate form, and he was handily defeating Aizen. Okay, this is what they did. Okay, Aizen got to a form where he was so powerful that nobody could sense his power anymore, and they're like, "Are you hiding your power?" And he's like, "No, it's just that you can't comprehend it." Uh, if you put an elephant in front of an ant, the ant can't comprehend that the elephant is a being because it's too big.
Mm.
Um, and uh, and so when Ichigo shows up to fight Aizen can't sense him, and he's like, "Huh, seems like you didn't get that much of an upgrade after all." And yet Ichigo's matching him blow for blow, and he's looking bored while doing so. He's like, "I don't understand. You're so weak. You're so far below me that I can't even sense you." It's like, and Ichigo's like, "No, they can't sense you because you're so much stronger than them. You can't sense me because I'm so much stronger than you."
Damn.
Um, so it's like, okay, Ichigo, you can clearly just keep fighting him normally, wear him out, beat the dog shit out of him, and you win the day. Just do that. And Ichigo goes, "No, I will put all of my power into a single attack. After I use this final Getsuga Tensho, I will lose all of my power."
Why? That is so
Exactly.
stupid. Oh, I hate that.
Yep. So he uses final Getsuga Tensho, and and Aizen managed to dodge half of it, so he's still alive. So Ichigo's just there as a normal ass human, and Aizen's like, "Okay, now I'm gonna fuck you." And literally, the only reason they win is because Urahara's like, "It's okay. I showed up with my own bullshit to finish him off. Um, I knew I couldn't trust Ichigo to actually do it." Uh, and so Urahara seals him away. Um, and it's the stupidest goddamn thing ever. That is where my issue comes in, is that Ichigo lacks a a true defined personality. Sometimes he's a nice guy, sometimes he's a jerk, sometimes he's smart, sometimes he's an idiot. It's really like there are pieces of him that you could define, right? But
Mm.
as a proper fleshed out character, he is so gelatinous. Um, he is easily moldable to whatever you need in the moment. Um, And that was one of the stupidest things I've ever seen any anime character do. And I've watched Dragon Ball Z.
That's
So,
so stupid, though.
yeah, one of the most frustrating goddamn things.
Like, just
Uh,
use your head.
yeah, like, again, he was going to win if he just kept fighting. And it's not like the longer the fight dragged out, the more blah, blah, blah. They were in the middle of a barren wasteland. Like, every sword swing was shattering mountains and stuff. But, like, it's not like they were hurting anyone.
Yeah,
So
you didn't
he
need to
could have
put
just,
all your power into one fucking shot just to miss.
yeah, exactly. Um, Especially because, like, again, he lost all of his Shinigami powers, and so then there was an arc where he had to train with guys called Fullbringers. Apparently, oh god, this is where it gets stupid. Okay, all right, okay. So Ichigo's powers were never that of a Shinigami's. It's just that they were manifesting like a Shinigami's, but he's really something called a Fullbringer, which is something to do with him being both Shinigami and a Quincy or something. I don't know. But like it's stupid
Yeah,
because he was very clearly a Shinigami. He got his power activated from a Shinigami. His dad was a Shinigami. He had the Zanpakuto of a Shinigami. Now you're trying to say, well, he was actually the shut the fuck up. Stop changing things. Stop. He is a part of every major faction in the fucking show.
at this
And
point, it kind of sounds like a fan fiction.
exactly. There you go. There's my problem with Bleach is that Ichigo is a self-insert character, which is why his character is so malleable. And he is a part of every cool thing the author could think of, except for the Espada. But it doesn't matter that he's not an Arankar because the Visored is just the same thing as the Arankar, just flipped. Um, and so it's like, so he's part Shinigami, part Hollow, part Quincy. Also, this thing called a Fullbringer. Uh, it's like mm, it's just very frustrating. Whenever people talk about like the best shonen protagonist, and I see them mention Ichigo, I go, no, no, he's not one of the best shonen protagonists. He's a part of a great series to an extent, but he is not really a great character. He is just the self insert for fantastical things that are happening around him. He is
he's he's just there.
he is the guy for the viewer to imagine that they were being in that situation. And I and like cuz people can hate on like Goku and Luffy for being like dumb sacks of shit all they want, but like at
At
least they
least they
have
have a character.
defined character and and that's the thing. Part of being a defined character means that you are, for all intents and purposes, acting as a person, and one person will not always agree with 100% of the things that the other person does. There are many times when people look at things that Luffy or Goku does and go, "That was dumb. I would have done this instead," and that's actually good. That means you're writing a solid character.
Mm.
But Ichigo is always just like, yeah, I guess I could see myself doing that. He is as much like a stale loaf of white bread as a character can be. So sure, I can relate to it. It's like his the closest things he's got to defining character traits are that he uh got into a lot of fights in school, uh or he doesn't like how his dad is overly affectionate, uh He
Wait,
gets
he
flustered.
doesn't like that his dad was affectionate towards him.
Yeah, every morning his dad tries to give him like a running tackle hug, and Ichigo will literally punch him in the face or something.
What the fuck, Ichigo?
Yeah,
God forbid your parent tries to care for you.
yeah. Fucking Naruto would like be pissed off seeing that shit.
Exactly. Like, goddamn.
Yeah. Um. Also, they they leave they leave the cooking and the housework to Yuzu, Ichigo's like 10-year-old sister.
Jesus Christ.
She makes breakfast as she cleans the house, and it's like, sir, that is your daughter. Maybe either I understand like you work, like you're a doctor, but like you also have a 15-year-old son. Maybe have him do some of this shit.
Right? Instead of putting it all on her.
Yeah. Like the two daughters I think are like twins, so they're both the same age. One is very sporty and into soccer and shit, and the other is like girly girl. And they were like, "We'll let the girly girl be the girly girl and make all the food and stuff." It's like she's a
That feels
child.
sexist.
Yeah, yeah, it's very. Welcome back to Japan. So, um, yeah. Look, I feel like there's a bunch that I didn't go over, but you I feel like I gave you the basic foundation of what kind of series you can expect Bleach to be. Um,
Mm.
do you have questions based on the information I brought up that like you would like to know more about?
Is it worth watching? Because, like, the fights sound cool, but other than that, it doesn't seem like it would be worth watching minus the fights.
There's I would say at the very least the first 2 to 3 seasons are worth watching. Um, the first filler arc you hit is called the Bount arc, which has to do with vampires that control like spirit dolls.
Ooh, that
It
sounds
sounds way
interesting.
it sounds way cooler than it is. Don't get excited.
Oh,
Um, I would say the Bount arc is when I lost interest and stopped watching episode to episode. You might like it. Try it. When you hit the Bount arc is when I would say make a decision. Um, either continue watching using like a filler guide or just stop and start like YouTubing some of the coolest shit from it. Um,
mm.
like Ulquiorra versus Ichigo is really good. Grimjow versus Ichigo, another member of the Espada, is a big favorite. Um, his resurrection turns him into like a Panther Man. Um,
Oh, that's neat.
yeah, because he was an Ajakas when he got turned into an Arankar, so he actually was a Panther.
All
Um,
right.
oh, I should say that of all of the Espada, only one of them actually was a Vasto Lord when they turned. Everyone else was an Ajakas or weaker. Um, the only Vasto Lord I think was number 3, Tia Harabel, who is well known for having some of the most insane underboob in anime. um,
I think I know who you're talking about.
dark skin, short blonde hair.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've seen quite a few pictures.
Yeah, there you go. Now you know where she's from. Um, which is funny because her resurrection also. Okay, so the way it was before is that she had this like bone plate as a chest covering that exposed only her underboob. But when she transforms in her resurrection, it becomes a bone strip that literally is only wide enough to cover her nipples.
I love anime sometimes. It just gets so out there. Like,
They give zero shits. They're like, look, we were horny. We wanted to make something hot. Take it or leave it. It's like, all right, I'll take it.
they're just such a horny culture, man.
I'm here for it. It's great. We should all aspire to be more horny. Maybe less sexist, but definitely more horny.
Less sexist, more horny.
Yeah,
Exactly. I should get
that's
that
our
on a
motto.
shirt.
That's our motto here at Cape Corner.
I'll put that on my bio in Twitter.
Sounds good. Speaking of, I guess it's time to wrap up. You can follow the pod at Twitter at Cape Corner. You can follow my personal Twitter at Beyond Blue 13 if you are so inclined. You can follow Jay at Twitter whenever he makes one.
I have a Twitter now. You can follow me at J Vicarelli. It's just capital J and then capital V for Vicarelli. And actually, I should probably spell out that.
Gonna say, like, yeah.
Capital V, lowercase for the rest is ICCIARELLI.
Fucking Italians. All right.
Sorry.
Um, so I guess you made it as we were talking.
Yeah, and I even followed you and Jordan too, and Cape
Oh,
Corner.
shuck. Thanks, bud. Um, I'll follow you back in a little bit. All right. So do you want me to keep doing your Facebook, or do you want to just switch over to the Twitter now?
You can do Twitter because I'll link my Facebooks through my Twitter and all that.
All right, cool. Um, you can also join the Cape Corner Discord. We do polls there sometimes. I'm what episode is this going to be? Is this good? This is 47.
I
So
think.
48 and 49. I might go ahead and do polls for 48 and 49 since I know for certain what episode 50 is going to be. Um mm,
Also on my Twitter, I went ahead and put links for the Discord and the Spotify
oh, cool. Thanks, man.
for Cape Corner. No problem.
Oh yeah, and you can also support the series on the Anchor page if you are so inclined. It's works just like Patreon. Also, please, if you enjoyed this episode, share it with a friend or share any character that your friend would be interested in hearing more about. Um, because we're growing a catalog here. We're coming towards the end of season 2. Um, we, in addition to this, we've spoken about 47 other characters, 46 other characters. Sorry, and I'm sure any of your friends would be interested in hearing about at least one of them. I've spoken about Iron Man or uh, the Hulk, Harley Quinn. You know, there's a bunch there.
We've even done Star Wars, we've done Kingdom Hearts, we've done
Pokemon.
Naruto. That's right, we did do Pokemon. And I really still want to know more about the Pokemon Wars, but that's besides the point.
Dude, right there with you. We all do. They need to make a fucking like Band of Brothers style documentary.
I would watch the shit out of that.
Yeah, I would too. I kind of said that as a joke, but now that I'm thinking about it, I think I would. That's rad. Oh, I guess I should ask, did you ever look up the anime that I mentioned to you? Pokemon Origins?
Oh, I forgot about that. Hang on, let me write that down real quick. Where's a pen when you need one?
I think that's what it was called.
Pokemon Origins?
I think. Yeah.
All right.
I'll message you later if that's not it.
All right.
All right. Other than that, that's been the episode. I guess my closing thoughts on Ichigo and Bleach as a whole is it's a good lesson that a solid foundation, a solid concept can take a series a certain distance. But if you're not prepared to follow through with a well rounded plot that you have some idea of where it's going in advance, we can't all be Akira Toriyama and it will eventually fizzle. So when you come up with a cool idea, maybe run it by a friend of yours, have them ask you questions about where the story is going. And if most of your answers are, I don't really know, maybe take a moment to iron those details out before you commit to the story. Uh, that's me, not a writer's writing advice for the day. Uh, any final thoughts, Jay?
Don't be like Ichigo. Have some actual character development.
Yeah, don't just be a gelatinous blob that mirrors yourself to whatever necessary situation. Be your own person. Don't be afraid to upset other people. Just be yourself.
And don't be sexist.
Yes. And don't make the hot cat lady wear clothes.
Oh, that's gonna be on a t-shirt.
All right, everybody. Thank you for listening. Stay strong, stay true to yourselves, and remember, we can all be heroes.